morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. Welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all. I hope everyone's having a good day. I wound up sleeping like 11 hours last night. It was great. But good to see you, Bad Roxy. Good to see you, Mel. And Bad Roxy, congratulations unto you. You have won the crown of Firstendom this day, and by virtue of your crowning, you have become, as you say, the queen of chat. But heed this warning: your subjects are most unruly. But otherwise, hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone's having a good day. Going to be diving back into Spiritfarer. So let's just go ahead. Let's dive right into it. Oh, I know. Yeah, I mean, you live with one of the chatters. Ugh. Okay, so there's one spirit left, apparently, we have not found. I clicked first immediately after the notification went out, and she already got it. Your streak is broken. Your streak is gone. Okay, so we need to find his friends. We need to find a bunch of beaches. Hummingbird at night. Gold Dragon in under 7 minutes. Third of deadly pulsar rays. Capture over 1/3 of severe lightning strikes. Have fun in the foundry. And go to Overbrook Hospital for a kitchen emergency. So why don't we head somewhere near... So Hummingbird, Bottom Line, and Oxbury. Let's head towards one of those. And by towards one of those into this blank unknown. Mass fights, mass fights. Please no mass fights. Small fights only. It's about a meme. Yeah, I know. I saw the meme. I was just making my own meme in response. Wait, garbage, come back here. Because mass fights, the mass or no, or like mass in terms of massive. That was the joke. A true father joke. Yeah, one where no one laughs. I'm gonna smelt a fish. Isn't a smelt already a fish? You're laughing now. Lol. Oh, hey, we found somewhere. Hidden thicket. So birthday luck struck and I won a hoodie from another streamer. That's awesome. Look what I drew. I did this drawing for you. Oh, no. Stanley, don't give me the feels. The weather needs to get cold and faster. I mean... Oh, look at it. It's a picture of Gustav. I mean, it can get chilly in Texas at night. It's not like it snows. Yeah, it gets chilly down here. We invented it. Come on, kitty, where are you? Road work ahead. Yeah, I hope it does. The cat is great. Okay, that's all that's here. Unless there's something to the left. So sneaky. I'm glad to hear you slept well, Mel. Slept about 11, 12 hours. Nice. So did I. I was so tired last night. I just, like, conked out. Okay, we can sail at night now, which is nice. So we need to go to... I believe it, yeah, Oxbury is one of them. As is Bottom Line. Yep. What's the last one? Hummingberg. Oh, okay. We need to go to Hummingberg for two things, so let's just do that. Let's take the bus there. We love public transit. You know, you were saying about the lucid dreaming? Wow. Jumped I was at church and I remember speaking, this is cool and all, but I usually have superpowers or something. Give our sister a hug. Where's this bus stop? Didn't think it would take this long. Ah, there it is. Went to a pumpkin carving party. And I dreamed about the party, but I was carrying around a much larger pumpkin, feeling pregnant. That makes total sense. I guess you could paint your belly for Halloween to make that a jack-o'-lantern. Okay, I think I can basically upgrade everything here except for his diamond. So I'd need a little more linen thread, some more carbon powder, and some homemade paper. So the paper was... I cooked glue and sawdust? I remember glue being involved. Recipes. Aha, paper. Sawdust and household glue. Yep. Spooky baby. I think I'm out of shoes, yeah. I know I'll need to make an electrum sheet. Nope, too much. There we go. So at dinner on Sunday, I halfway joked my sister and her boyfriend to ask if they needed a roommate to help them, and that it would help me. And they were actually seemed to be considering it. Hey, that's great news. Only thing is it's a one bathroom house. I mean, that's certainly not ideal, but it is livable. So one more homemade paper, a steel sheet, and some silk fabric, and carbon powder. Nope, I should actually check out. I think I have... Oop. No, wrong thing. Improve. I think I have their house fully built. Yep. Can't do anything with Stanley's space. They're all gone. Oh, yeah, let's just upgrade this guest house right away. So I guess the dog is just living... I can keep making cuckoo clock towers. That's interesting. Going to add onto their house. Well, that would also help. Impenetrable shower curtain. That would also help. Good to see it, Kit. Okay, so we're looking for Jerome. Oh, we need to do this at night. Dang it. Are you Jerome? Ah, Buck is finally ready? About time. I've spent all my pocket money on glittery dice. I'm more than ready. Ah, yeah, okay. I am the mighty Emderil. Yeah, whatever. I'm Jerome, okay? I know I should be in character, but whatever. Come on, what's the riddle? I see. That one's a doozy. I need to think about it. I'm sure I'll figure it out. Figure out where to go. Thanks. Okay, this works out well, because now we can spend the day working on improvements in the house. On the road, traveling back from folks' house from deer camp. Did you catch any deer? I realize that's not really what happens at camp, but still. So I need to make lots of silk fabric, a steel sheet, and a carbon powder. Steel sheet, carbon powder, and silk fabric. Oh, the silk one just goes zoomy zoom. No hunting, just winterizing it. Yeah. Winterizing probably isn't something you do in Texas. We should have blankets around our pipes. That's probably not too dissimilar from what's happening at camp, actually. I have good news. Your partner prayed the rosary with you last night. They also agreed to watch Mass on TV before trying to go again. But this time we're going to the weekday service. So as less people, that sounds like it's all a great idea and is awesome. Congrats. Fuel additives in the tarps? That's pretty intense. Smashy, 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 smashy. No. There we go. You need a hug, Stanley. Oh. Well, you're good at this. Hey, Buck. How you doing, bud? Hey, I have a feeling you like... feeling you'd like fried chicken. By the 7 graces of Imelda! You coming forth and offering me the gift of comfort food has the sign of Hallow, the Prince of Fate. I cannot resist such delicacies. Very wise choice, Commander. I guess Hallow wouldn't mind if I gain a few pounds. Give me a hug, you nerd. In the tanks, I figured. Yeah, the dog does not currently have a house. I also don't have a diamond. I don't know what to do about that. That's probably like a quest item, I feel. Homemade paper, I just need to get more. Tools workshop is all good. Ta-da! Today's the memorial of John Paul II. He was Pope for a very long time. I think the unique thing he brought to his papacy was his very philosophically oriented mind. And what I mean by that is the way he would approach the world kind of in these logical arguments in everything he did. And a great sign of what that means, of how we can use our wisdom, our God-given wisdom in the world, and also a model of suffering ultimately for it. And, he had Parkinson's quite bad. And he did not retire, and, you know, that certainly may have caused some human consternation in terms of running the Vatican and the church. But it was a great sign of redemptive suffering, so. I used to be a teacher. I still am. Back then, I had a classroom. And the kind of school that made sure each student passed. The kind of school that teaches money can buy everything. Every September, it was full of students ready to learn. Every year, however, they failed to impress me. Chatting amongst themselves, passing glances around, closing their eyes and their minds to my lessons. Immature little. All of them. She probably doesn't like Stanley, so I don't like her. One of the other unique things he brought to his papacy was compared to the other pope. That's true. He was the first non-Italian pope in like 6-7 centuries. Father Evan almost did a swear. I know this game makes me almost do a swear a lot, but I managed to avoid it. No, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. That's what I want. There we go. I think it is under Tchotchke where the boots show up. So unfortunately I don't have any of that. The way that he responded to the guy who shot him made such an impression that the guy became Catholic. Just in case he's good at his job. Yep. Very true. As a kid, I thought JP2 would be forever. I mean, when we were kids, he had already been Pope for what seemed like forever. Also thought your Archbishop would be there forever. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a very normal thought for a kid of like, oh, this person in this position of authority, they've always been here and will always be here. Like my teacher. What do you mean Mrs. Moss doesn't live at the school? Why is she here at the grocery store exactly? Truly, these are the great mysteries of our time. No, Derek, you graduated last year. The whole school doesn't leave when you graduate. I just wanted to go in the store. I saw a treasure chest up here. Main character syndrome. I don't have main character syndrome. I am the main character. I mean, coffee's cheap. Let's... What the heck? Yes, young person, can I assume you're busy? You're a modern woman. You have things to do, tasks to accomplish, deadlines and whatnot. You get it, we have a busy life. We at Feedorama believe in productivity and filled bellies. That's why we have created an incredible food delivery service. Carefully crafted meals by our gourmet artists. Making meals shouldn't be a distraction. Finding out what to eat every day is a chore. Your time matters, but not at the expense of an empty belly. If you believe Feedorama, you'll enhance your palate. You'll grow in taste. For the low fee of 5,000 glims, you'll receive a special package every week. Filled with fresh produce and helpful recipes, you'll be happier and more productive. Imagine the possibilities. Feedorama believes in you. Would you like to subscribe now? Sure, why not? I'll set up your subscription and make sure you receive your first shipment ASAP. You can rest easy knowing that Feedorama is committed to your food needs. Welcome to the Feedorama family. I'm mostly doing that because I would like the recipes. And also, we just have a lot of glims and can get more. Ooh. It's HelloFresh. It really is. Oh, right. It's our annual Colmar visit at Tool's house. How the whole family is there. Except me. Look at Uncle Tool. With the grill, obviously. Look at your face. We're covered from head to toe in barbecue sauce. And it's adorable. Mom is beaming. She's young, but so tired. Look at her eyes. Those are eyes of someone who's not sleeping. Nice job, Saw. You mom awake all night with your baby tears. I'm actually happy Mom's sleeping right now. She needs the rest. Plus, I get to talk to you all alone and have a drink. Alright, let's turn to another page. Something from the mill. Another picture when we were living in France. Gwen is in this one. We're riding our bikes together. Gwen would always outpace me, leaving me behind. Gwen, by the way, is the deer, the first spirit we took along with to the Everdor. I guess no one wants their friend's little sister running around them. I was young. I admired her so much. Remember, she would disappear for months on end and show up out of nowhere. I thought she was so bold and amazing. Mom and Dad loved her. She was some kind of parent whisperer. I guess her home felt like her home. Oh, there's a postcard next page. It's from Japan. Okay, so we're probably going to the Japanese Isles next. If I had to guess. Yeah, Furugawa. Aww. Yeah, this game is full of awe. Okay, so we need more peaches for Mickey. So let's sail to Bottom Line in Oxbury. Wrong button. Berry pie, flowered raspberries. Okay. My best friend mom still called me the other daughter. That hits home. Oof. Here I am growing all these carrots for a guy who doesn't even want carrots because he can't tell me what he actually wants because it's probably illegal. The illegal carrot. The merit. Wouldn't that make it a demerit? Scout! Do you not remember the merit? I don't know what you're talking about. The merit large? The merit large? You owe me points for that joke. Well. Just keep watching then. What is your problem? You ruined this whole operation. The buyer is very specific about his cargo. What am I gonna do with the carrots or pizzas? You're the worst partner I've ever had. You can't even get a simple order straight. My brother would never mess up like this. I don't think this is gonna work out. Let's go. You were ready to step up. I shouldn't have trusted you. Ah, crap. Listen, let's go. I know a place. It's called the Everdoor. We should go there now. Oh. You guys need a hug. It's a meat carrot that Arby's made in response to the Impossible Beyond Beef. I have no recollection of that happening. Well, we're almost to bottom line, so we'll go to bottom line, and then we'll go... I guess we'll take him to the Everdoor. Hey, Britt. I like that our sister is represented not as a single thing, but as a collection of butterflies. It makes her very different in terms of the other spirits. What? Why would you sell the pictures that Stanley drew? That is cold. So I have a feeling this spirit's going to be... Buck sent you finally. Oh, whoops. I mean... Glad to finally make your acquaintance, Commander. I am Warderick the Bard. It is I who composed the ode to Flabbergon the Drunk. I who solemnly performed at the court of Queen Fluthian up for her wedding. And I'll be the chronicler of the Silver Company once again. Yeah, pretty good, eh? I love this character. Yes, you can count on me. I will meet you at the Naked Mulbear Inn as planned. And in meantime, I will scour the other archives for the great library of Wallable in search of precise information. I also need to tell my mom. Okay, gotta run. See ya. You're excited? I hope you find out something stole-worthy. Knowledge is free. It can't be stolen. Well, hi, chat. Well, hello, Map Hack. Hippity hoppity, your knowledge is now my property, the educational industry. So are you saying I cannot steal a free thing? Not on Free Balloon Day. I'm just hoping they have some nice fabric. Purple fabric? I bet they do. It's a fabric store. They better have good fabric. Still trying to figure out the best length. I would say, ultimately, it's probably better to overshoot than undershoot on that because, you know, worst case is it can be trimmed back. Lurk. Thank you for the lurk, Nana. At least an inch. Well, actually... So, I don't remember the measurements for stoles, but I do know that the measurement for the width of the shoulder of a chasuble is to be at least 5 inches, I think, because there was a time when the Roman style was becoming so popular, but it was so hot in Italy that they kept shortening it to the point that the Pope got annoyed and stepped in and was like, no, you have to have at least this much fabric for it to count. He's very tall. So 2 inches. Oh, it is always day at the Everdor, apparently. Stop! The Pope. Yeah, well, I mean, that describes a lot of popes doing things throughout history. Guys, knock it off. The Holy Dad is tired of this. Do you happen to know how long mine is? I have no idea. Off the top of my head, I'm afraid, Britt. It's... And they're all different lengths. Like, I have some of varying... where are you guys going? You were going to come to the Everdor. Now you're running away from the boat? Yeah, they come to my... I mean, most of them go to mid-thighs or the knees. Some a little longer, but not much longer than that. Although I do know one chasuble here. We have it where it goes all the way to my ankles. So, it's... part of its style. It's right close to heaven just based on height. We need to talk. I've been... You know how I've been. Wanna go somewhere? Alright. Oh, he's gonna let his shields down and be all vulnerable. Prepare for the feels. These guys haven't been... Well... Mickey's been great. He's just a lovable ox. His brother, Bruce, yeah, it can be a little obnoxious, but... I'm aiming for about his knees. I think that I have a decent estimate for that. There you go. That's perfect. That's why Latin women can be so mean. They're short. Oh my goodness, Mel. Yeah, listen. Let's just get on. I can't do this without my brother. Let's get on. Talk it through. I didn't plan this life for me and my brother. They used to call me the talker. Really? I could talk your ear off. I would never shut up. However, right now, I don't want to talk. I should just be like my brother and take a moment, pause and listen. Yeah. And think for a change. Fat chance. At my age, nothing is possible. Nobody changes. Anybody that tells you otherwise is lying. trying to sell you something. The only thing I'd rather be is true to myself. That might make me a jerk in the end. It might make me a loyal brother to this man here. None of that matters. None of it. I don't believe that you believe that for a moment. You know why we're here? It's because I have a small imagination. Can't see beyond my back streets, my town, my friends, my family. More importantly, I can't see a life beyond my brother. If he goes, I go. Funny thing is, he went a long time ago. I just didn't want to admit it to myself. I was holding something from the past. My reputation, my house, my car. Yeah, whatever it was. It was nice while it lasted. It just doesn't change anything. Anyway, slice it. We're still Maria's kids from South Broad. Nothing's ever gonna change. Not even in the end. Alright, Mickey, deep breaths. Now let's go see what everyone's been raving about. I'll send you a postcard, kid. Aww, the hummingbird hugs the ox, too. So that explains why Bruce, or why Mickey was always silent. That wasn't really Mickey in a sense. That was a projection of him having already gone. And something that Bruce needed to hang on to, but ultimately was a weight on him as well. Dang. Yeah, still, liturgical clothes are stupid expensive. Student. I'll say do everything for you. You have not prepared lodging for me. You haven't told me what you want. Write this quickly. Something sparse, no frills. I need it post haste. Go now. Oh boy, howdy, do we have something for you. It's called a cuckoo tower. Did you know that asteroids that kill dinosaurs is technically the highest ratio of killing birds in one stone in Earth's history? So steel sheet and fine planks. Okay, I can do that. And we're gonna set a course for that as well. Did I miss on the rota? You did, but I can definitely give you the recap nonetheless. Today is the Feast of JP2. Talked about his role of being a philosopher and also one who suffers. And the example of redemptive suffering. Made Father laugh. Mission accomplished. I need 2 steel sheets. We'll quick travel real quick because I need to go to Buxbury for the next member of what's his name? Buck, for the next person in Buck's party. So we'll just set ourselves up for that. But I will make this, I will make Elena's house first. So steel sheet, pine planks. 2 steel sheets and a bunch of pine planks. I'll just make a bunch of pine planks, so that'll make it easy. He has a fan code that reminds me of how down to earth he is. He was a very good man in many ways, but he was not a great playwright, I'll be honest, in my opinion. I have seen a production of The Jeweler's Shop, which is a play he wrote, and it has a lot of interesting ideas, but it is so philosophically heavy and really does not flow well as a story. Oh. I'll read that when I finish with the logs. It's unbecoming as a cardinal to ski. It's unbecoming of a cardinal to ski badly. Yeah, that sounds like a sense of humor. A lot of the most historians acknowledge that although not accomplished single-handedly, JP2 is very responsible for the fall of communism. Yeah, no, he did have a very prominent role in that. I mean, he was head of state, after all. What do we want to plant next? Mystery seeds would be good, because we might be able to get shoes out of those. And I need shoes to make glue. Did you say shoes? Yes, I did say shoes. You stick shoes in the foundry and you get out a thing of glue. Yeah, you turn the leather into glue. Yeah, see, it actually does make sense in the end. It's just... Whew. Freshman year of college, I got to write a research paper arguing that he was one of the greatest popes of all time at public university, and no less, still one of my favorite things to write. Nice. Have I noticed that nobody has ever seen him and Carol Wojtyła in the same room? Just like with horses. I mean... Animal Farm? Hello? Elena's cubicle. Where can we put Elena's cubicle? Sure, right over the foundry seems like a good idea. Well, this will do. This will do nicely. But let me warn you. I need the bare minimum. Please do not add anything to these cores, not a single ornament. I wonder if I even can. Wait, if Bruce really wasn't there, then the Peaky Eater was the brother all along? I mean, in some ways, yes. I think in some ways, he's still also a representation. Okay, so we can add things. It'll just make her angry. I think we do it. Realize that Cardinal Ratzinger and Cardinal Bergoglio. I think Greyheart, you might be onto something here. You might be onto a bit of a conspiracy theory, almost. Oh, I forgot to mention this at the top of the show, also. Thank you to Papstillo for following the channel. Welcome. Buy some lemonade. It's freshly squeezed. Greyheart knows too much. This was card is coming. Burkadoo! Can I explain mother wisdom comparisons and referring to wisdom as her in the Bible, especially I've seen in Sirach? Like, I don't really get it. Yeah, so most commonly you'll see it in wisdom literature. So the Book of Wisdom especially has a lot of references to wisdom as her. Um, and you might see references of Mary as the mother of wisdom, as Christ is considered the Logos, the incarnation of the wisdom of God. But still, like, there's a sense of knowing God's wisdom and the feminine side of it. Like, you know, God is not inherently male or female. God is God. God is beyond gender. But we can still understand and relate to God using gendered language of both male and female. So, and wisdom typically takes on that role. Think of the Hagia Sophia in Istanbul, once Constantinople. Hagia Sophia is a feminine term. Sophia, it's you know, a common name, Sophie. So it's that sense of the wisdom of God is that feminine intelligence and creativity. So I hope that helps. Ha! Finally! No, I won't bow before you. I know who you are, and although I respect your reputation, I am Elperin, Ranger of the Seventh Moon, and Ranger of the Seventh Moon bow to no one! As the leader of the glorious Silver Company, I will uphold once again the Crusader's mantle. Some preparation needs to be made, and then, yes, I will ride my noble steed to regroup with you all. Go unite the fellowship. For the time is come, and adventure cometh forth. It's grammatically feminine Greek. Yeah, that's what I was trying to communicate with Sophia, Hagia Sophia. I believe it might also be feminine in the Hebrew, but I can't. I mean, that would make, actually, it is because of like how it's written, but I guess I'm just confused why wisdom is being personified. Isn't wisdom just a virtue? Yes, but also, where am I going? Urgawa. That's where I need to go for her. An aspect, in many ways, the aspects of gods can be personified in many ways, but also because of Christ, who is the word, logos, as it's used in the prologue of John, the wisdom of God is not just an aspect. It is personal and relatable. It is one of the persons of the Trinity in many ways. Obviously, all three have God's infinite wisdom, but that sense of knowing God's wisdom, the Logos, the Sophia, there's a relatability to it. And we have to remember, too, that the examples of it used in the wisdom literature is divinely inspired. You know, so like the presence of that language and the personification of it is something that God desired us to know. And so we can sit with that and ponder what that means. Oh, this is utterly fantastic. Silver Company has answered the call once again. We'll soon trapeze once more to the Elysium Fields of an adventure. May the 11 stars bless your heart, Commander. I've truly been indomitable herald of bravery. Now our next step will lead us to a shifty tavern, the Naked Mole Bear Inn, nested in the frozen mists of the white hamlet Nordweiler. But before our appearance at that mysterious premise, there's a little something we should accomplish, Commander. I am certainly entertaining the concept of sustenance. Yeah, can I come up empty-handed? That would not be good. Okay, look. We need to bring munchies, otherwise everyone will be miserable. Let's say some popcorn. A corn dog would be nice. Oh, yeah. And for dessert, toffee. Yeah, that should do it. All right, where was I? Oh, yeah. This undertaking might very well be below your level, Commander. But it shall be a well-earned respite in our quest for justice and glory. Onward! I never thought of it as not just being an aspect of God. There you go. Okay, so... What? So I need to make some food. Head to Nordweiler. Head to Furugawa. I need to do all of these. And I need to use the foundry to have fun, which means that... What? Oh, is that just use the foundry? Okay. And Overbrook Hospital. Let's head to Overbrook Hospital because we're kind of in the neighborhood, I think. This isn't it... Shadow Forest. Oh, we haven't been to Shadow Forest yet. Oh, that's right. We were going to go to the Shadow Forest when we started. I forgot about that. Where is this hospital again? Oh, Overbrook. There it is. Okay, 1 popcorn. Toffee, 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 toffee. You know who would like toffee, I bet? A dairy and a sweetener. Okay. Our buddy Stanley. Me. I would like toffee. Also valid. I meant on the boat. So I'll make 2 of those and a corn dog. Do I have the recipe for a corn dog? I do. Corn flour and pork. Nope. I have no corn flour. So I'm going to have to fix that. Oh, you know what? 300 bits. Thank you very much, Mel. Let me put the corn in the grinder. Maybe Father Evan would like toffee, but I don't have toffee. Ginger Pastille! What about fiber toffee? That's just caramel. I don't think it's toffee. So, I would have been excited about this if I hadn't had the other pastilles already and know how, like, intense their flavors are. So we'll see how this goes. Ginger fixes almost as many things as turmeric, so I should have ginger turmeric. All right, so here goes some organic ginger. It's a lot of ginger. Oh, that is spicy ginger. It has just a wee bit of a kick there. Great. Ah, Smellers, you really came. I think I can count on you. And nice to have a visitor too. What? Oh, yeah, work. I'm just so swamped. Make things worse, Miss Difficult up there is being extra bothersome today. I can't leave my post. It'd be too dangerous for her. Listen, I need you to go get some grub for these poor people. They've been complaining all day. I swear it's like they're helpless. Anyway, we should get to the cafeteria and grab some food trays. Anyway, anything will do. I mean, there's a hospital, right? People just can't expect 5-star service around here. Just pass them around. I'll shut them up for a moment. Hopefully I'll be done here by then. Here's your nose puts you off. His everything puts me off. Hyena? I think so. All right. Oh, nutritious slop or tasty. Tomorrow's menu is the tasty slop. Oh boy. This looks like food from yesterday. I don't mean it looks like old food. It means looks like it's already been eaten. Ugh, fine. Okay, so I need to find the white spirits because they represent the patients. The slop can't be both? No. Ew, 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 ew! I don't like this food. Hospital food once gave me food poisoning. That was fun. Wow, this food is, I guess, slightly better than starving. Rave reviews. Am I familiar with St. Albert the Great? Albertus Magnus? The mentor to Thomas Aquinas. Done. I can't hear the incessant whining of hungry patients anymore. Doesn't mean you fed them all. That's great. Well, but also my plate. A little more on theirs. I gotta admit, I was kind of scared you and follow the procedure. But you did. Looks like a good soldier. Model orderly, really. Anyway, thanks a bunch for your help. Well, something tells me I'll be needing your help pretty soon. Mr. Difficult Kent does not appear to be calming down anytime soon. Can you give me a TLDR about him? I mean, he was a great theologian and a teacher to Thomas Aquinas. He's the one who... So, Thomas Aquinas was actually thought of as kind of dumb by his classmates at the time, because he was kind of verbally slow. And he failed his first... So, like, back in that day, education, you would have organized arguments, essentially. Oh, Beer Fox, get in here! Anyway, Thomas Aquinas failed, and Albertus Magnus said, "You may think he's a dumb ox, but one day that ox will bellow more loudly than you will ever know." But yeah, I'm guessing he, in terms of like an educational figure to Thomas Aquinas, he helped just kind of guide him in his early life and in his early priesthood and life as a Dominican, and his educational process. I think he was a professor himself. No, I screwed up. Gold has such a finicky range. I November reflection falls on his feast day. Ah. I know I have a book somewhere. There's a collection of him and Aquinas. But yeah, the Great is a title that gets given to saints, and it's interesting that Thomas Aquinas is not known as Thomas Aquinas the Great. But the Great is a title given to particular saints of prominent theological intelligence and role in history. Yeah, that ginger pastille sure is ginger. Ginger is good. It's just, it's kind of a lot of ginger in one time. Oh, there's the gold dragon. We need to fight the gold dragon at some point. So we need to head to Nordweiler. And I'm actually going to stop by this fishing spot first. I am paying for the weekend and doing litter boxes yesterday. This body, man. Oof. Moving to move so you can lay down. Okay, that sounds wise. You get over here, fishy. I'ma catch you, little fishy. This better be a great big fish. For all this work I'm putting into it. No! I pushed too hard. Yeah! Bluefin tuna. Let's go. Freaking out. Lost people. Help, please. Oh, wrong spot. Oh, wrong house. Wrong tall structure. Corn flour and pork. Twitch be glitching again. I have a black screen. Oh no. Okay, it's not me at all this time. I can promise you this. I haven't dropped any frames. And my connection has been very good today. Turns out part of the problem why I had issues yesterday is the server in the house, which is used to power our internet, was being physically replaced. Yeah, that would do it. Yeah. Ta-da! Okay, Buck, where are you in your home? Hello, Commander. As a hero of... Darn, I should have read the script sooner. Oh well, never mind. Yeah, I'm taking a pause. You should too. It's always a good moment when you're in between games to browse through your character sheet. You think what you'll do with your XP. But don't worry, I'll soon be ready. What do you think of the beginning of the Gore Nemloth story arc? Pretty cool, eh? I've taken it as the base of Dungeon of Destruction, sprinkled here with a few elements of Masks of Emotep. And I had the single best magic item from a royal campaign, and I'll let you in on a little secret. Remember One-Eye Omgrothog? Who could forget One-Eye Omgrothog? Yeah, remember him? I've had him to the campaign. Bringing stats to the new edition was a pain in the butt, but I'm so excited. All right, I'll go back to my notes. Can't be ready soon enough. See ya. No, I'm here to give you things. Where are the meals? Give you one of those. Bob will be delighted. We love that. Corn dog. Jerome and I don't always agree, but our friendship has been cemented by mutual love of corn dogs. Yeah, that's valid. What was the third thing that we made? Popcorn. Popcorn smells great. Man, Brian won't stop talking about it. Yay, Stella! You've got everything! Oh, dang, sorry. By the lords of Wyron, our fellowship's larder has now been filled to the brim with delectable victuals. Commander, victory won't have been simply earned on the battlefield, but in the kitchen too. Swore swiftly and sprucely to the modest hamlet of Nordweiler, the Silver Company is bursting with impatience. The naked mole bears inns will forever see in their stones imprinted the memories of our congregation. Give the order, Commander. Fate awaits. So far, so good on mobile. That's good. Get a surprise shearing, sheep. Sometimes grand events happen in the simplest places. The air is damp with mead fumes. The atmosphere is... Hey, Rev! Hey, thank you for the follow. Well, come on in. Hope you're doing well. The atmosphere is tense, and the onlookers gaze at your appearance. The naked mole bear inn is shabby parlor indeed. Its inconspicuousness is its best quality. A lot of people lost eyes here. You can smell the bloodshed in the air, the perfect rendezvous for the Silver Company. And indeed, our reunited adventurers each came forth with a piece of an intricate scenario. Wardrick the Bardrick, in his research, found an ancient tome in the archives of the Great Library. In it, words of a very wise and ancient being, an oracle had been mentioned by the sage of Iran. El Perrin, the noble ranger, met with the witches' conclave of Samdar. The witches talked about the leaves of an elder tree And though their forbidden ritual of Almazar awakened from the tree from its ageless slumber, and finally Emdaril riding his white steed. Emdaril's horse is named Emdaril? Wow. Emdaril did nothing but argue on the internet over 2 months of Poison Cloud spell cast at level 2. Good job, Jerome, once again. Commander of the Silver Company might have unearthed where our next step will be. Roll a knowledge skill 18, success! You can't shake the idea that the Oracle is indeed hidden in Furugawa. Hey, we need to go there anywhere. This can be the only possible solution. Determined, you believe it's time to set sail towards Furugawa to the Oracle. Thought I was already following. Oh, it's all good. It's good to have you here. It's my rev! It is your rev, Mel. Wait. Does that make Rev a wizard? Commander! The Oracle is a being of immense wisdom. Only the Chosen One will be deemed worthy. You have to face the Oracle alone. He's as old as time, watching all us mortals. You can find him at Furugawa. Find the Oracle. I bet Mrs. Rev agrees. It's hard to make him laugh, but when he does, it's one of the best laughs around. Well, now I need to wait. I think especially watching a collab of the two of you and wait for you to make him laugh. So we need to go to Furugawa, which is this one. I tried, but I mostly torture him with puns. That's fair and valid. We love a good pun around here. I shake my head disapprovingly. I mean, that's also the appropriate response to a pun. So I know she said not to improve things, but that makes me just want to improve things. So 2 rose gold sheets and 2 planks. No puns allowed. Oh, you're in the wrong channel then, Nabucco. Finally stream again tonight. Hey, that's awesome. GeoGuessr, are you doing something else? I've been telling about this necromancer I've been dating. I know it seems fast, but we're talking about raising a family. Boo! Okay, so I want to go first to the shrine so that we can have the talk with our sister. Because we can only do that at night. Gabby just chatted. There you go. Also a fun time. Working on an art thing. Very nice. This photo album sure makes you look well-traveled, sis. Listen up, because I'm going to read your embarrassing postcard. Let me find my famous Stella voice 1 second. Dear Mom and Dad and Lily, my trip has been amazing so far. I'm even making friends. This is the first time we're ever hearing Stella actually say something, interestingly enough. What a boring thing to say. At this rate, the summer vacation will be gone in a flash. Last weekend, I went to Shirakawa-go in the Toyama Prefecture. I took a tour to visit these beautiful rice paddies. It was an impressive sight. Next to those incredible houses at the bottom of the mountains. It was especially beautiful at night with the glow of the moon. Oh, Stella. He's an art curator from Germany. He's creating an art exhibition in Nagasaki. The tour was in Japanese, so he helped me with some of the nuances. He gave me his address and invited me to a show. Stella had a thing with Gustav? I miss you all. I can't wait for you to visit me in a few months. Stella. P.S. Stay out of my room, Lily. I didn't. Wow. You're so outgoing. I don't remember you ever being like that, so full of life. I was always a bit dramatic, let's say. I wonder if you went to see Gustav's exhibition. That's his name, right? We never got to go on that trip to see you. Dad got sick around that time. He had trouble walking. His body was swelling and hurting him. Never understood why they kept it from you. They probably knew you'd come back as soon as they told you to take care of him. I got to see Dad get sicker and sicker. I wasn't able to do anything to help. I still remember your face when I got home. For a second, it was like you didn't recognize him. Let's keep going. It's not like you ever shied away from death. You basically made it your whole world. I'm sure you've got some pictures when you moved to Montreal. Let's take a look. Hey, you. The name's Megan. I run this street team of the Dice Boys here in Fergal. We're hungry fans. Hungry for them bars. Dice Boys are huge here. This record morning Sacred Dog is going to push some boundaries, sonically and popularity-wise. I'm just so happy for them. They've been here for a minute. Some people started recognizing their talent. Thanks for the shipment. Oh, hey. That's right. We have those books to give out. I'm sorry, Stanley. I fell. Whoa, this place is incredible. Look at the mountains. They're so big. Oh. I'm not usually supposed to be up so high. Mom says I get scared easily. Don't look at Don, Stanley. Do you know how I get up here? It must be a mistake. Mistake. I've had trouble with that word sometimes. This place feels special. I think many people can come here. Looks like a wonderful day and night. I hope to see you later. I'll figure out how to get down eventually. See you. Oh, here, let's give you some food, too. Dessert time again. This is incredible. I'm so happy. Thank you so much, Big Hat. Well, thank you for the invite, Britton. Let me know. I'm afraid I will not be able to make it. Where's the Oracle? It can't be far. I can feel his power. I have spiritual direction tonight. The word moist should be outlawed. Nah, you're just being a little over the top. A rice patch needs constant nurturing. It's a full-time job. I'd rather eat mangoes and watch the sunset. Forgawa, blah, blah. Okay, so you're not the Oracle. I wonder if the Oracle's the person we just delivered the records to. Just because they're the most, like, out-of-the-way person in this whole thing. It's like a drawing. Nope, that's not them. No, thank you. I don't want to buy your magazine subscription or whatever you're selling. I'm not selling anything. I'm just... I am the Oracle. Oh, the tree's the Oracle. Okay, that makes sense. I see visions of deception and hardship ahead. I see loss, sorrow, and pain. I see hope, love, and joy. We will return to the world with a token of passage, a piece of soul already paid, an item of immense value, an obol. But Spiritfarer, this is not what you came here for. You came here seeking answers. You will find these answers in those simple numbers, -185, -92. Those symbols will show you the way. The receptacle of light awaits. Okay, so -195, -92, 82. Yeah, they're definitely coordinates. Don't think they're that far from here either. Amazing Commander! This day will forever be inscribed in the archives of lore, forever sung by balladeers of the Seven Corners. The Oracle has awakened. He talked to you. His spells might be cryptic, but you will no doubt find the solution of this, I am sure. Roll. Oh, well, I think you can figure this out on your own. Good luck. Okay. -185, -82. Oxbury Shrine. I think I want to do these for the rest of stream. So that's the gold dragon. There's the extra scary lightning. Hey, Mithril. And what's the third thing she wants us to do? The pulsar rays. I suppose it would make sense to try and rearrange the ship's deck to be more conducive to this. But... oh, I need to make a copper ingot first. Hopefully I have copper. I do. Perfect bus stop location. Okay, so we'll sail to this lightning trial. Oh, that's the crusher. Here's the smithy. There we go. Student. Another challenge. This is an easy one. A little bit of rain and thunder. I won't say this often. Survival probabilities are rather high. Just don't let your guard down. You won't end up like grilled chicken. Use your dash ability to get there. You'll need to move really fast. Heads up. Thunder is here. Oh, shoot. I already missed that one. Because it was down on the boundary level. Dang it. Okay, we caught it up. What a poor lack of talent. This makes me sick. You have to catch those lightning bolts. You need to catch more. Do better next time. And again, you may not be that great at this. Maybe if I made things easier to understand your own limitations. You say, no. So you do not enjoy being ridiculed. You just have to be smarter and faster. I don't like her. She makes forging look easy. Yeah, Scylla makes lots of things look easy. We like Scylla. Okay, those aren't ready yet. Let's go. Let's go do the let's try the gold dragon. I need more oak planks. That was a good cut. That one was okay. Take me near the gold dragon. Guess that's the nearest one to the gold dragon. And let's now annoy this teacher by fully improving their house. Because most of the spirits also need the improved house to get out of here. Now, this is one spirit I don't know if I'll miss. Stop! I need food. You strike me as someone who wants simple. Or healthy. This is good. This is healthy. Student! I have one memory that I particularly cherish. It was one day after a particularly rowdy gym class that I came back to my room, fuming with hormones and aspirations, one of my first years on the job. Shaping the minds of the youth, they told me. Anyway, I couldn't control any of them. Don't keep still for a second. I wasn't shaping anything today. I snapped. I started screaming. It's the only thing those monsters could understand. I told them truths that would only reveal themselves later in lives. When you lose a parent, when you lose a best friend, when you lose your job, when you start to crumble from the inside. Oh, you're cheery. After that episode like that, I should have learned a lesson. I didn't. I vowed to focus on talent and excellence. I vowed to never let go again. I steeled my resolve. You have some things you need to be working through in therapy. Old shoe! We can make some glue! One shoe. One open parentheses, numeral 1 shoe. $40 pies. That's so many pies. How could you do that, Lex Luthor? Hey, that counted for Stanley. Stanley. Oh, I can't talk to you. There's an event going on. Student! A new task. This creature's in pain. It will thrash and fight. It will be a decent challenge for you as long as you don't forget to use your dash ability. Go. We'll be timing you, of course. What is up? Hey, Beer Fox, we need you to talk about Albertus Magnus. Is purple the official liturgical color of All Souls? It is one of them. All Souls can be black, purple, or white. Typically purple in European countries, typically white in America. I love talking about Albertus Magnus. Great. Britt was, had some questions about who he was. Shoot, come on. I need a way up. Team Black Vestments. Come on. Oh, hey, that worked. Yeah, this track is great. I'm just a little stressed out by the timer. Hey, Bren. Oh, good, 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 good. I was afraid I didn't land there. Yes, we did it! We did it! First try! Not bad, but not good. Keep at it. I won't just tell you your time. Might get to your head. On to the next one. You are showing promise. What are you waiting for? Go now, student. Commented on Aristotle, considered Precursor Aquinas. Dr. Universalis. GG? GG indeed. Oh, Stanley's sleeping. Okay, so the next trial is there. Since I'm not waiting to do anything at night, I'll just sleep through the night so I can talk to Stanley. Oh no! You made so many mistakes! I wouldn't have made that many. My dad said don't worry about it too much. That really would make my mom mad. You told me to make mistakes. The fact that I can combine sawdust and milk is a little concerning. But as soon as I make this paper, I'll be able to upgrade and make the posters for Buck's Wonderlair, and I just need the diamond. That's how you get thick milk. I don't want thick milk. I can't accept your generous offer. I've crossed past the Lactocross, the knob goblin. Oh no! He's lactose intolerant. Are you ready for another challenge? They'll be coming from all directions. Steal your mind! Visualize the patterns. Use your dash and light burst abilities. What's my light burst ability? Where are they? I hear them, but... Oh, it's all up there. I've probably already screwed up. I would say I got that one game, but we're going to disagree. Yeah, I'm so not succeeding at this one. See, as soon as you reach that number, it stops. Oh, you can't see the number. It's behind me. There's a number behind my head, and when you reach that, the game stops. And if you collect, if that is half, you've done fine. But if it's not, too bad. I can see you're sweating a bit. Good. These challenges are supposed to be difficult. You've earned a carrot. Not a little carrot, but a reward. Here it is. It's in the form of a challenge, however. I have nothing more to say to you. Feedback over. Oh, never mind. We actually... Okay, so we failed the lightning strikes one. But we passed that one. That's good. I'm happy. So, Oxbury Shrine, Stockton Family, and Overbrook Hospital. Let's head. Without seeing the times, this looks extremely chill. Yeah. We're close to Overbrook, so let's head there, talk to Jackie. Because there's one more spirit that we do not have. Or have had. And guess who it is? It's not Jackie. He has a bacterium, plant, crustacean, brachiopod, and asteroid named after him. Wow. Or had. Exactly. I think we might be able to finish this up next week, though. Because I have a feeling we're pretty close to taking Buck to the Everdor after we do the Oracle thing. Elena, we need to find the lost treasure and the lightning strikes, and I have a feeling that'll happen pretty quick. And Jackie, I feel we're getting close too. And then obviously we're getting very close on Stella's own story. But I want to be able to take all the spirits through before we finish up hers. We might go into a little bit of overtime next week, but I believe in us. Oh, I got the paper so I can do that improvement. Now all I need is a diamond. Where? If I put coal in here, it becomes carbon powder. Which is kind of where I was thinking it might become a diamond. Don't suppose there's a diamond recipe here. No. Because I was kind of thinking like, oh, coal and pressure. You're partial to the OP, or you're partial to the overpowered? You like min-maxing your characters? Over here. It's you. I thought I smelled eggs. Kidding. Nice. Kill out the bit. You're gonna blow fuse. So listen, this doesn't want the nail up there. It's been really a handful today. It's such a pain. Long story short, I haven't been able to make my runs properly. There's a couple of patients that have a tendency to go wander around the hospital grounds. Now you go slowly to shepherd them back to their room, they'll surely get lost and scared. Or like mocking and distracting the staff. Mind you, they're not dangerous, just confused. But we can't have patients just wandering around. Management calls it a liability. It'd be a gem if you'd help me out by finding them. There should be 3 of them. Look for any patient visibly out of place or hiding. I just talk to them. They'll listen to you. They'll head right back to their room. Hey, thanks again. Am I lost? No, of course not. I'm a doctorate. Yes, a doctor of medicine with a doctorate in medicology. The best of the best. All I know are the bones. There's the radius and the diameter. Wait, that's not right. All right, I'm not really a doctor. I just wanted to have some fun. I'll go back to my room. With daylight savings time in Europe this weekend, I still have to figure out if you'll be earlier or later. Good teeth, my dentist would be proud. There you go. I don't know which way the clocks are moving. I didn't even know Europe did daylight savings time. Well, is it? Is it? I don't know. You look like a patient out of place. Yeah, you. Listen, you. I'm in big trouble. I'm not even supposed to be here. They got me. They got me good. I've got them good. I was sleeping in the park, minding my own business, doing what Mark does, which is sleeping in parks. I already said that. Pay attention. So I'm out like a bag of clementines. Then, out of the blue, I'm here. I'm not even sure where this is. I just know that Mark here, which is me, is not supposed to be here. Mark needs to be free. Free to sleep in parks. Free like the squirrels. So here's the plan. I need to make a rope. A rope to help me climb down from here. I got a guy. I know a guy. I know some guys. So this guy is standing by, waiting for Mark to make his escape. If he brings me some linen, I'll make a nice rope, and I'll be scot-free. And he'll get satisfaction helping me, Mark. Right back to the linen. I can't eat another bowl of gruel. Gruel. Wait a second. You've already got some. Hand it over the linen, will ya? Yeah, sure. Nice, nice, nice. Thank you so much. I'm going to escape and meet my guy, and that's going to be amazing. Can't thank you enough. Mark would say later. But you'll never see Mark again. Was Mark your ghost? Did Mark ever exist? Well, he does, because I am Mark. Prestige. Later. DSL originated in Europe? It just doesn't seem like a very European thing. You're the Spiritfarer, aren't you? That's what I thought. You are not the Spiritfarer. You are a liar. I am the Spiritfarer. I was chosen by Karen to find spirits and lead them in the afterlife. You've been doing my job. You just showed up Spiritfaring offices and started calling yourself Gary. Yeah, my name is Gary, and I'm the real Spiritfarer. You saw no opportunity and took it. You're a shark, aren't you? This would never happen if I didn't lose the Everlight Karen gave me. You fall asleep next to a pond once, you pay for the rest of your life. So listen up. You might be a liar and a cheat, but I know you're a decent person. I can feel it. And that's one of the gifts of being a Spiritfarer, to feel people out. You know, you would know that if you were the real Spiritfarer. Anyways, I think your duty is to help me out. From the Spiritfarer, that's you, towards a real one, that's me. You can go back to wherever you were doing, and I'll go back to being the Spiritfarer. Like I said, I was chosen by Karen, not you. Lucky for you, this shouldn't be too hard. My Everlight was somewhere in the water close by. You just have to go and fish it out. Just don't take the boat too far from this place. Just be in the water near Overbrook. Okay. Regulating clocks is very European. Yeah, but it's not the way I'd expect Europeans to regulate their clocks, I guess. Will this take me high enough? No. Don't talk to me. I'm waiting for a Kuning to come restock the vending machine. Then when they're not looking, I'm going to sneak into one of their boxes and I'll finally be able to explore the world. Imagine where I'll go. First on a cargo ship, and then off to a storage hangar, probably for a couple of years. Finally, I'll probably go to a recycling center to be made into a brand new box. You know, you make some pretty good points. I'll just go back to my room. Sometimes the mold makes funny shapes. It's officially implemented at a nationwide scale in Germany and Austro-Hungarian empires in 1916 to reduce coal usage on power plants for lighting so they could use it for war. Would it be possible to take a small bite of you? No! What if I say yes? It tastes like chicken. Oregano? You're weird. I'm Flo. This is Lau. We're looking for a cat. She's quite old, but she's great. She can't be too far. She's so fluffy. She sleeps a lot. Sometimes she sleeps on my back when I'm reading. It's not super comfortable for me, but she likes it. Well, have you seen a cat besides yours? No, I have not. I actually legitimately have not. Where's this third spirit that I'm supposed to be taking back to their room? Is it you? Oh, hey, you. You gotta help me out. My leg is all bent up. Look at it. Look at it. Oh, it hurts so bad. You gotta help me out fast. I'm not going in there, though. I can't pay, and I hate hospitals. Why did I come here, then? It's none of your business. As I was saying, I really hate hospitals. They smell like vinegar. Vinegar is for chips, not hospitals. Oh, my leg. So I'm gonna need a few things. Listen up. I'm in so much pain. Glue, sawdust, and pork. No. Now looking at screen context, can I take a bite of you? No, it was so funny. I mean, it's pretty funny even in context, I think. Oh, it might be you. Oh, shh. Trying to find a way to sneak in. A very good source that this tower isn't a tower at all. It's actually a rocket ship. It's built by the reptilians so they could flee to the stars. At least once they're done enslaving humanity. As you know, reptilians have primo taste when it comes to snacks. I could just get in there. I'm sure I could snatch a few of them. Been having craving for ants on a log for weeks now. What? You've seen them in my room. Why didn't you say so? See ya. Oh, there you go. Yeah, was it? Not too bad? Yeah, I didn't think so. Sure, Greta is super weird, but I guess this is just her. Yeah, still a bunch of very cooperative, unlike you-know-who up in the tower there. Plus, I was pretty sure they'd go back to their rooms after meeting you. You know I would, if only to avoid the smell. Come on, I joke around. Anyway, yeah, thanks for helping me out. Sometimes I wonder why I even bother with this job. Guess I don't know what else I could be doing. Plus, they tell me I am doing good by working here. So, win-win? I don't know. Never quite got that expression. Oh, almost forgot. I had to rummage through my locker and finally find it. But I want to be straight with you. There you go. Old coins, just like the one you lent me the other day. Remember for vending machines? Anyway, there we are. Square. Smell you later. We got his obol. Crispy burlap men. Still a terrible name for a candy. Okay, so we need to head to some coordinates, head to Oxbury, and some other coordinates. So where's negative 185, negative 92? That's... Actually, they're headed to the same place. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take this bus stop, and we're going to end up down by the other, by the next spot. And that's where we're going to call it for the day. And again, I think we can finish this next week. Which is pretty exciting. Nothing right now. About to take a nap. Adding from idiots. Sorry, wrong number. Wrong number. Wrong number. Haha, JK. Lol. Gay, you nerd. Oh, I didn't know Albertus survived Aquinas. I know Aquinas died pretty young. Okay. That's where we're going to call it for the day. So, thank you so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today. Join us again tomorrow for Midweek Minecraft, but attention, tomorrow I'll probably be going live later than usual. We've got a Busted Halo birthday lunch, so it's going to probably take a little while. So, but I'll still do Midweek Minecraft, don't worry. Still going to happen, just maybe a little bit later. So that'll happen, and then Thursday more Castlevania, so that'll be fun. And then next week, more Chrono Trigger for RPG Monday, and finishing up Spiritfarer for Spirituality Tuesday. Right as I'm ending. Oh no, well that's okay because I'm wrapping up. But yeah, so thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, checked out the YouTube, checked out the Discord, all that good jazz. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And let's see who's live to raid into. Junie's doing some doodling. I'm going to send you over to Junie. She's making meat morps. We love meat morps in this house. Hey, I'm on the queue as well. Of the meat morps. I have no idea which one she's on right now, but she'll be working on mine at some point. She'd be patron saint of trivia. Nice. She's making you. That's you right now? That's awesome. All right, so raid call is just going to be we love meat morps. Spam the meat morp if you've got my meat morp if you got it, or hers or whatever. Spam meat morps. All the meat morps. We love meat morps. But yeah, we love meat morps. Anyway, take care. Have a great rest of your day, and God bless.